Alright, welcome back. You're still watching E-Vibes, the entertainment show on Signature TV. This is the conversation segment where it's not really an interview, but more like a conversation. I have a guest here. Her name is Anulika Iwoba. She's a storyteller and an event host. We'll be talking about balancing broadcast show moderation and storytelling. So over to you, Anulika. Talk to us. Welcome, first of all.
Thank you. I was hoping you would say welcome and then we could get into it.
Okay.
Yes, thanks for the welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, you said you are a storyteller, and I had to go through your WhatsApp details, and I got to find out that you broadcast show moderator, host, event host.
Yeah.
You literally have a whole lot on your templates.
If you say that.
Yes, you do. So I want to know how you balance this up. I want to know how you balance event hosting, storytelling, broadcast show moderator as a young lady. How do you do that?
Okay, so I mean, the first thing you said is that I have a lot on my table. I think that's true.
Yes,
right?
you do.
And if Nigeria shows you anything, it's that you can't afford to not have a lot on your table.
Honestly,
right?
with the economy and all.
Yes, exactly. People have to diversify. You don't have a lot of choice, right? If you're living in this economy, you have to do more than one thing for most people anyways. Yeah, so my background really educationally was in journalism. Yes, and I majored in broadcast journalism, right? So ideally here what that means, if you study mass communication and maybe have your undergraduate project in broadcasting, related subjects, you're expected to end up in TV, radio, right?
I mean,
exactly. so yes, it's almost the unspoken rule of that, right? But I knew that journalism wasn't what I wanted to do. Right, it wasn't what I wanted to do immediately after school. Right, but there were aspects of that educational background that I think defines me, my personality, right? Which is presenting, for example, event hosting, and I look at that as storytelling. You know, when you introduce me as a storyteller, I look at that as, storytelling. And what does it mean to tell stories?
Exactly. I was about to ask you that now.
Whether personal stories or, professional stories.
Yeah.
I think of it as a way of projecting myself, right? A way of expressing myself through my career. So as an event host, of course, no two event hosts are the same. In your style, you bring your personality to bear, you bring it to show. So that's a way of telling your own story, distinguishing yourself from maybe other event hosts in that regard, presenters and stuff. So balancing all of that, has it been easy? No, but it has also been very exciting, right? Yeah, so event host exposes you to all sorts of things. I mean, we're talking about events, and events are very diverse. You could do a red carpet today, and tomorrow you're hosting a very serious, maybe high-profile talk show or something. So it exposes you to the diversity in that field, and it's interesting really to experience all of that. But it can also get overwhelming as a host, a presenter, a cultural storyteller. I mean, I even thought you were going to describe me as a cultural storyteller.
I was about to ask you that because you said something about Igbo culture, storytelling, and writing too. So I wanted to ask, do you write books? Do you write novels? That is specified on Igbo culture only?
Only. Okay. No, the answer is no. In fact, I'm even wary of using the word writer to describe myself because I'm not sure whether it's technically or literary, right? The word writer very often suggests that you're published, and I'm not an author, right?
Okay.
People often think that if you say you're a writer, you're an author. I'm not an author, but I do write. So maybe when I find a word for people who just write and put it out on their social media, I would like to describe myself.
So you're part of those people that just write comments and you upload on your story or something.
Yes. I do write a lot about my experiences. That's the sense I think of myself as a journalist. Journaling, constantly putting down things that interest me, maybe from society or personal experience. I do write a lot about that. Also, so leaving school and getting a bit into broadcasting, print journalism, I did a bit of writing also. Right. So where you have to write, tough.
So where did Igbo culture come in?
So Igbo culture comes in or came in at the point where I was born as an Igbo person, where my Igbo identity.
So it's more like your personality.
Definitely it is, So in fact, when I spelled my name, I added, I don't know if you
honestly, I saw the whole dots and everything. So does it mean whenever you write with Igbo?
When I'm writing Igbo, and my name is Igbo, right?
Yes,
so it has to be spelled the right way, right? So yes, I've always worn that cultural cloak, very proudly. Igbo is my first language, and I speak fluently. In fact, it's not even something I'm supposed to say, because why not? Right? Especially being born here in the South. So naturally, it's who I am. So I wanted to study Igbo in school, as a matter of fact, yes, but I didn't have as much guidance as I had wanted to give me insight into how what I'm expected to, what I can expect from that, course of study and prospects in it, because these things matter, right? So, but when I eventually did not study it, it has always been a part of me to ask the question of how can I promote Igbo, the culture, the heritage, and it was as if my prayer was answered, because it's something I've always preoccupied, has always preoccupied me. How do I project Igbo culture? And I'm not saying this to imply that the culture needs me. There are already people at the forefront doing it. Me, we're already everywhere. It's a job that matters, yes. But I've always felt that as someone who appreciates, the culture, the language, the heritage, and have a deep understanding of how important it is for people, I felt that there was something I could give. So currently, I work in a place called Center for Memories, and Center and the Signature has, partnered.
I mean, you can see your artworks literally everywhere in this office.
So Center for Memories, if you're looking for a place that speaks about
Igbo culture,
heritage, document our history, our journey, our legacies, our excellence, and showcases it for today's relevance and tomorrow's needs. I found myself there, and I couldn't have been in a better place given how, so yeah, because I'm in the programs and comes in it, it means designing programs that helps people relate to our culture. So that's why I see myself as a cultural storyteller, telling stories with my programs. And when we go out of this place, we'll speak Igbo.
So finally, before they send us out of the studio, how has it been for you being a broadcast show moderator? How have you been able to tell us the story of how you've gotten to that point? As I can't call you a career woman right now.
No.
Okay, you are not.
No.
Okay.
What's too big?
Too big for you. All right, because you literally have a whole lot on your template.
Right,
so how did you get to that point to become a broadcast show moderator? Talk to us on the challenges, what you had to go through, because of course you said Igbo is something you would have studied, but some certain reasons you didn't do that.
This might take a PhD thesis to answer the entire question, because that question is very loaded, right? But I would just say that so Nigeria does something unfair to you. I mean, I must say that, which is that people often think that you have to do what you studied, Yes, and you have to study a particular thing to be a particular person or to be someone of repute, and it's not true. And I say this because in broadcasting, for example, some of the finest broadcasters I know had nothing to do with journalism or even mass communication. These are people who came from different backgrounds, especially in sports. You see that in sports a lot. A lot of sports journalists have nothing to do with, right? So that's where passion comes in, interest. What are you interested in? And if you're lucky to study what you're interested in, so that gives you the firm foothold, to,
to do.
You're solid on that, you already have your background in that, and it helps you to go forward, right?
That's
passion
quite
is a way to start. I've always been interested in speaking, public speaking, self-expression, art. That's me, right? So studying mass comm also was not a mistake, because it helped me to understand better that aspect of me and connect it with what I do. So it's about passion. It's about, what else would I say? It's about interest, And then if you're passionate about something, if you're interested in what you do, even when challenges come up, you'll be better able to manage it, as opposed to if you don't have any interest in it. That's what I would say about my journey.
Okay. That was quite an interesting one with Anulika Iwoba. She said she's not a career woman, so we shouldn't call her that. But I will keep telling her that she has a whole lot in her template. So that's a good one. I had it was interesting having this conversation with you.
Likewise.
It was interesting having this conversation with you. So we'll end the show here. Thank you very much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for the tete-a-tete we had.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll draw the curtain right here, right now. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join us same time tomorrow, same station. And don't forget to always tune in on SLTV channel 265. We'll be there live and direct for you. Thanks for watching. I remain your baby girl, Queen It. Welcome to see you tomorrow.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.